Happy Lord J on day 12 out of 66 to transform your self-image. And I'm certainly going through not just the motions, but am doing the work to transform my own self-image as I step more powerfully into being the magi of my own realm, which means to be the magician that consciously creates a reality that I enjoy living. And today, the prompt that I wanted to really focus on is identity and the fact we are in a mixed war between public and private life that has shorn that which is true away for what is norm. I just like to rhyme, as you know, and so as I go with that flow, I also say I want to bring in the significance of community for identity and how we so oftentimes will sacrifice respect and self-actualization for the sake of belonging within Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And survival and safety come before even belonging. But so oftentimes we will sacrifice our own ideas, beliefs, values, and desires for the sake of a group will that would superimpose itself onto us, which is what the public does. Well, the public is a mental construct that contains the people and make the people property of the public. Whereas if we actually maintain our God-given right to remain in our private capacity with all common law rights reserved at all times, which is the unlimited and uncapitalized and unspecified common law that can be drawn from lest we be drawn into the public, that is where we see the power we have individually to be the change we seek in the world. But we also need to then take it back a notch. Instead of seeing the world as one big thing, just like we do with the public, it's time to see that the world depends on which domain lays claim to the realm and all of those within it you're in. So the whole concept of being the change we seek in the world really has went beyond what is achievable in some ways, because we stop seeing all the worlds we're already part of. Our family world, our professional world, our social world, our professional world. I do believe I already said, but nonetheless, where do we get our identity from? Those places, people, and things we have a sense of belonging and affiliation with and to. So, as we do the inner work, it's necessary to see how our identity has been formed and shaped by those personalities that have rose to the top of our social circle, that then have made rules that we need to adhere to in order to maintain our affiliation with the tribe. So as we better understand identity and the entities that feed off of the one-dimensional boxes we check to say this is what I am instead of all that I really truly am, this is where we start to see how the clan causes the man or woman to stand as something other than we are, which is to status and pose and pretend to be part of a fictitious reality that may not actually have our best interest at heart, for the entity needs to feed itself first, and we happen to have the energy it needs. So, I want you to really think about your own identity. I want you to see how gender identity is a huge piece of the modern day puzzle in terms of how we are being fed off of by the genres of drama we perform with our sects of beliefs. Sects being S-E-C-T-S, for the sections, which is a smaller section out of the whole that believe something that is not necessarily about our soul at all, nor about making us whole, but instead to compartmentalize ourselves further and then say, out of all of these boxes, that one is what I am. But do you see how I am is here and that, where we then learn to revere the status, title, personage, or label that we put onto ourselves is then what we check the box of to fit into this counterfeit version of reality that is not real, but it feels real when we're there. But without the interface, we can't face off with that reality because it's not actually real. Like what we are when we feel and then heal and come into greater wholeness instead of just only using and choosing those hues or aspects of us. So, I trust this message has got you thinking. And then I hope it will help you get to feeling about what this means to you and for you and what you're going to do about it. What you'll do about it comes later and is part of the process that I am working through myself to then be able to lead others to as well. But this identity connection between the public and private is absolutely paramount and fundamental. 222 went by on the license plate there, for it is about the duality of a spectrum. For if we are on a spectrum, we have to see it is still the same line. It's just which line will we allow ourselves to be hooked by? Hook, line, and sinker? Like in a sporting game? Or instead will we drop down and see the power of a name? And also the fame that goes with it. And also the identity that comes with that. And also all of the other alsos that add on to what is true. For then we believe the story about what is real and who is real. And we see the stories about us as more real than we are. For that is where the man, the myth, and the legend become one construct, when the truth is the man steps into the myth and plays the part to create the legend without remembering the leg ends of where we can defend is stops where it's real, and then everything else becomes the fiction about the ordeal that made the real one less real. So feel into it. Let me know what it means to and for you, and give this a message a like, so that I know that you paid attention and are starting to really become clear about where your identities in the public have superimposed themselves and their expectations, their roles and conditions onto you, who is real and need to feel in order to heal. And that can only be done if we allow ourselves to be real, not reeled in. So, peace, Lover J, namaste, namaka.